Today we have Shruti talking about
When did I go to National School of Drama? In between my 10th boards. And my parents allowed me to go. So I'm okay to cry in front of him. I'm
Nice.
okay to get angry in front of him. And I don't think, okay, Garv is sitting here, so I should not do that. Your parents should believe in you. They should be okay to let you experiment. You can fail. You can give it another try.
Hi Shruti.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
First, I would like Shruti to introduce herself. So
Okay.
Shruti, please, stage is yours.
My name is Shruti and I am a 40-year-old mother to a very curious kid and wife to a very lucky man.
Yes.
Those are not my words.
Has to be his word. You've trained her well. Go on.
So he is a techie guy. I'm a creative person. I am from Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, but I moved to Bangalore after I got married around 16 years back. And so few things which define me are, a radio professional, theatre artist, somebody who enjoys hosting, like you have friends, Monica, right?
Right.
So I am exactly like that. I have to be the host, okay? Former queen also. I just have this thing, I have to be there everywhere. I have to do everything. So yeah, I guess that's about me. So I'm currently working as a head for creative brand solutions with a very popular radio station of India, that is 92.7 Big FM. So yeah, I guess that's about me.
So you said you're more like Monica. So I
Yeah.
have to ask you this. Are you also an OCD like her?
Kind of.
Yeah.
So it's on the verge, okay? I try to control myself for a lot of things.
Right.
But once I gave birth to my son, so that obsession has reduced a bit. But that it's still there. It's still there.
No, I'll agree with you. I think once they come into our lives, the house is predominantly messy.
Yeah.
And there's nothing much you can do. You just have to accept it and let it be.
Let it be, yeah. Thankfully my son is not that messy kind of a kid. But I don't want to for him to have that level of obsession
Right.
towards things. So that's the reason why I'm just like mellowing down myself.
So why don't you introduce Garv to the world today?
Okay, so Garv is 9 years old. He is a true Capricorn, okay? He has those qualities of being a silent killer. These bomb blasts which they keep doing, with their one-liners. And he is a very sweet, empathetic kid. Kids from now onwards have started becoming, I like this, so I'll do that. They don't try to put themselves in somebody else's shoes.
Right.
But thankfully, the case with my son is a little opposite. He's too emotional.
Yeah.
He's caring for the people around him. He's caring for himself. He's caring for the environment also. So I'm sure his teachers have a lot of effect on him because once from the time he has learned the recycle thing and all,
They have really done a good job. I mean,
I have to commend the teachers. That,
because I don't think this comes from us. Because
no, definitely.
we are definitely being more conscious.
Yes.
Nevertheless, I think this real application of being truly, focused on recycling or reusing things comes from these children. I mean, those ideas don't somehow naturally come to us.
He doesn't leave even a small tiny piece of food in his plate.
So, you are saying that this comes a lot from the teachers, right?
And being conscious towards your surrounding, being conscious towards your environment, towards your peer, towards your community, so that is something which is there inside him. And I don't know whether it has come from me. I don't think so it has. But
I'm sure, see, this is my belief, and correct me if you think differently, but I think that it is a mix of different environments and what they absorb changes from children to children.
Yeah.
So the initial aspect, of course, would be parents. When they come into this world, that's the first set of interaction they have and the learning curve that they have.
Yeah.
I feel that there is a point, of course, when they join schools, that's the second level of interaction and learning comes
really
from.
strong.
It's a very strong. And somehow they listen to teachers more than they listen to us. I mean, everything the teachers say is far more accurate and valuable. Even if we say it again at home, it's almost like, my teacher said it and she has a better way of explaining things than you guys do, which is okay. I'm fine. I'm happy with that. I mean, you're going to school to learn. So, great. But do you think that at a point in time, friends take over?
Friends take over a lot. Because, apart from the school, like good 6-7 hours in school. After that, it's just friends. Like, you know, school mein you have friends. You're coming back home. You go down 3-4 hours of like playtime is also around friends only.
Right.
So peer pressure is there. But again, it all boils down to what kind of an upbringing you have at home.
Understood.
Because that is the base.
Have there been these situations where you felt that Garv has been facing any kind of similar peer pressure because of the age and stage that he is in?
Now it's very, very much explicit, you know, between the kids and, you know, this generation especially.
Right.
But, you know, again, I would like to add that same thing here. You know, all those things are there, like trying to change you, change your perspective, change your thoughts. But ultimately, when you're coming back home, whatever foundation you have from home plays a very, very important role.
Understood.
So, I'll just give example of my son. Like, you know, there are, okay, kids are like, we can't do this. We have to go home. We'll not play. We'll not do this.
Right.
So he is like, fine, you guys are not playing. I'll go and I'll play with somebody else.
Right.
But he is sticking to
his beliefs.
Right. His way of functioning. That, you know, so I can see a lot of time he has that difference. Ki, you know, he'll not do because his friends are doing that.
Understood. Right.
If he wants to do, only then he'll do.
Right.
Okay. So I'm really happy
that he is standing his ground.
He continues that way. Right. You know, I sometimes feel it's okay, Garv, your friends are doing that. You just go and do it. Now.
Right.
What's the problem?
Correct.
Go watch a movie. He's like, no. I want to play table tennis. Now my friends are not playing table tennis, so I will figure some other. Yeah. So in a way, it's good also because, you know, that way he's getting to make a lot of friends. You know, he's not just
bound to a few selected ones. In school, I see that boys around that age of 9 or 10, I call them the pre-teens.
Definitely.
Because they're also learning.
Tweens, I guess.
Tweens, correct, that's the word. So they seem to be picking up a lot of information, which I feel is very, very early on.
That's correct also.
Yeah, and see, I'm sure they have that sense of maturity, hopefully. I mean, I say the word hopefully, fingers crossed. But in today's generation, everything that they are picking up is much earlier than probably we did at our times.
Of course.
The information that, because they also have access to so much of technology.
World is an open book for them.
Exactly, right? And there is, how much ever you want to try to save them from this, it becomes a bit of a tough task for a parent, because you can't 24/7 keep a tab, and it's not right to either. I think there is a huge amount of trust that you have to also, you know, show back, because you can't be prying on them every moment. So tell me, I'm sure you as a mom of a 9-year-old are also facing this. So does Garv come back and discuss these aspects with you, or I mean, because he also sees you as a parent.
Yeah.
You know, it's easier to discuss this with friends.
Yeah.
So what's the equation there, and how much do you push for that kind of a conversation from your end?
So, you know, there's one very strong rule of our house.
Okay.
We all have to tell each other everything.
Right.
That is a very strong, the good, the bad, the ugly. You have to tell. You know, you made a mistake, it's okay. But you come and tell.
Correct.
So it's not just about, now that I've realized, okay, Garv is about to enter into his teens, so, you know, I should build that habit. No, that has been the habit from day one. Like, you know, from the time he has started going to play school.
Understood.
Since then, he comes back, he gets irritated when I ask him, okay, Garv, how was your day? He's like, Mom, my day was good, it was good. And I'm like, okay, what was good? But you'll never change.
This is your journal.
So then, that time he'll get irritated. Right. But maybe while changing his clothes, he'll say, okay, my Hindi ma'am told me, you know, you have to write the poem, you know, 5 times because, you know, you got lesser than 7.
Right.
Then, you know, that friend, you know, he shared tiffin with me, and, you know, this happened in bus.
Right.
He'll gradually open up, like, you know, he'll start with his, why are you asking? But again, he'll tell. And that, the process of telling will go on till the time he hasn't slept. He'll come over for dinner, we are eating, and then he'll just give me some random information. Like, Garv, when I was asking in the afternoon, you didn't tell me this. But he's like, I'm telling you now.
I think they also have this I mean, they are so distracted with so many
They
things
don't
happening.
remember.
They don't remember. And
They
it just,
don't remember.
my son remembers it all when he goes to sleep.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise the rest of the day he remembers nothing. He was fine. That's the answer I get. As soon as he lies down on the bed, he's like, Acha, do you know what happened? Bug, 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 bug.
So that's the whole thing. And it's, two-way street. Okay.
Right.
So when he tells, I don't want to, but still I make sure that I
is.
talk about my day to him.
Right.
What I felt good.
Right.
And even if I'm hurt with something,
Right.
if there was something which I didn't like, I try to tell him that also.
Fantastic.
And we catch hold of my husband also.
Right.
You tell about your days. So
make sure you talk about the imperfections, because I think that defines a person's characteristic and personality so much more. It's a fact, right? Because we try to put up this whole perfect scenario of a mom and dad. They feel that if they have made some sort of a mistake, it's so much more difficult for them to express it.
Exactly.
But the day we start showing that, I mean, obviously there's selected imperfections that you talk about. There might be some really heavy mistakes in the past which we have learned from, and we do not want our children to.
Definitely.
I mean, we want them to be better off than that. But there may be certain kind of imperfections that there is no harm in showing the child, because that's where the true learning lies, right? And how you handled it.
So I'm okay to cry in front of him. I'm okay to get angry in front of him. I must be yelling at somebody on phone, and I don't think okay, Garv is sitting here, so I should not do that. Right. He should see all the
the range of emotions.
yes, exactly. And I guess that's when he was able to relate it to that movie Inside Out.
Correct. Absolutely. Beautiful movie.
Beautiful. I mean, I guess every kid should
watch it. Even the second part.
Part is
Inside Out 2 was also equally well made. Yes, please continue.
So that was the whole thing. Like, you have to be your true self for the kid to be his true self in front of you.
Right.
So, So that is one important tool which nobody in the family can break.
Because I think that also adds a bit of a pressure on the child, right? Because the moment you start telling them only the amazing things that, I was like so amazing at this and I was so brilliant at that. They are under this pressure of reaching that point, and at any moment, even if it is about something as small as marks, if they have not achieved, like you said, the Hindi poem, I didn't do well, so I had to write it 5 times. Something as small as that becomes like a big thing to talk about if the pressure is pretty high, right?
Exactly.
So, do you strongly also believe that even the pressure, like one of those big aspects of internal pressure that a child has at this stage and age, one of the true aspects or a true building block of that pressure is home?
Yeah, definitely. Because, that's the case with most of the parents. Like, whatever they couldn't achieve or whatever they have achieved, they, look forward to their kid doing the same thing.
True.
Okay. So, I don't know whether it's very conscious or not, but it is there.
It's there.
It's very subconscious. They must be doing it just in the flow without realizing it.
Right.
But a lot of times that happens. Sometimes while just talking to my son, I sometimes feel, am I like, adding that, like when the exam time is on,
right?
I panic a lot. Okay, I am like, Garv, you have to do this also. I'll make 20 pages of question paper for him. You have to solve this. So and then I'll just look at my husband and he'll not say anything. Okay, Capricorn. Okay, he'll not say anything. The way he looks at me, I realize, okay, this fellow is trying to tell me that you need to mellow down. It's okay, don't put that pressure.
I'm watching you.
And so then I'm like, okay, Garv, I've made this question paper for you. See how much ever you can solve.
See if you have the time.
I have to do that, but internally, internally, I am on some other level only. Yeah.
We actually pass that on so much to our children. I sometimes feel like when there are these moments related to school especially, when the child is supposed to do a project or there is a deadline or he's supposed to get ready in time to make it to the bus stop, whatever it is, I feel that my childhood mode kicks in. Where I have that fear of being late. I have that fear of not finishing the project and meeting that deadline. So I suddenly start living that child in me again, and I'm imposing that on my son. You know, that happens so many times.
That's very obvious. From past 3-4 months, he's realizing the value of time, you know, the importance of having that discipline in the morning and all. So thankfully, otherwise he used to get up, get ready in 5 minutes and leave. And I'm like, you just woke up and you're leaving for school. That is all because of the points. Like, you know, I'm trying to give him, like, it's been 4-5 months now. I've introduced this point system. Okay, if you do this, you're getting this point. If you're doing this, so he's very enthused, he's very competitive, okay, internally. So he's like, fine, you know, I'll make sure that I do everything. And he is accumulating points. Apparently he wants to buy
the points translate to
later during Diwali. He'll be able to redeem those points.
Wow! Brilliant! Well done. I like the idea. It's brilliant. Yes. So, okay, do you give yourself points? Now that you're applying, I will talk about my imperfections too. Am I giving myself points?
No. So, discipline is something which I'm trying to enforce on everyone in the family. You know,
this is my chart. This is your chart. This is Kunal's chart.
I don't know how diligently me or Kunal follows because of the work schedule, and it's very random. But yeah, we try to.
At least Garv does it, and I think children have that knack. You know, they love to take it up, and they love to really
accept challenges.
Yeah, they accept challenges far more easily than us. Okay, I'm going to now move to the third parallel, the third pillar of their teachings. So we went from parents to peers, and now we're going to move to school.
Yeah, very important.
Very, very important. Yeah. And I think there are a lot of parents today struggling with the decision of what's the right kind of school for their child. So we're all, while we were younger, and I don't remember my parents ever wondering so much. It was just understood that this is a school where you study, you're going there.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Today the thing is more about the balance in life. Whether the school is the right school for the personality that is going into that school. So we judge the schools basis our children.
Yeah.
So would you be able to throw some light on your decision of choosing schools?
Okay. So first, I'll talk about my parents. Okay. Yeah. So my childhood, my sisters, you know, I'm the youngest one. We are 3 sisters. So I went to the school where my sister was. Okay. So it was like that only. Okay. Badi behan jahan ja rahi hai. Okay. Correct. And so my elder one also went to a convent elder sister also went to a convent school, because one day my chachi randomly got the forms for that and said, you know, iska otherwise we would have been part of the state board, you know, a school which was very near to our house.
Understood.
And all my like 15-16 cousins used to go there.
Now we're having like a gang.
So my parents are like, you know, all of them are going. My kids will also go there. You know, I would want to say thanks to my aunt, you know, who just randomly out of
nowhere dropped in on a beautiful day
and you know, ye convent ka form hai, bhar do usko kara do. So because my elder sister went there, the other one also went there, and I also went there.
Okay, correct.
Of course, every parent wants to give a very good education to the kids, like, you know, where the kids are able to explore their talent, where they're able to flourish and, you know, grow into a proper, you know, civilized person, you know, like that. But that time it was like, you know, there used to be so many siblings, there used to be so many cousins, and, you know, follow the trend, whoever is going where, just it's okay, send them there. Because there were very limited schools also earlier.
True.
Now, to every nook and corner, you have a school. Everyone claims that, you know, we have this standard of school, you know, we have such infrastructure, we have this curriculum, we follow that international this thing and that and that and that. But still, you know, I would rather send my kid to a school that has a great history of being into that space, into that industry for quite some time.
If they've survived all this while, they must have done something right.
Definitely, definitely. So, you know, that charm of old missionary schools,
right,
or, you know, the old schools which have been in the space, education space for maybe 25 years, 30 years, you know, that shows that, you know, they have already nurtured so many kids. They have, you know, touched so many families, the lives of such kids. So, you know, so my first preference was that.
Understood.
Okay. And But you know, that used to also happen, like, you know, the old schools, they are somewhere in the center of the city, and you know, they'll not have a lot of space for the infrastructure, for sports facilities, or something like that. So that was another confusion which we had. Okay, you know, because a lot of kids, you want your kid to get everything in the school, whether he wants to be into sports, for academics, for extracurricular, everything. But again, the space also becomes a constraint, because they have been settled in that place for so long.
True.
They don't have any scope of expanding.
Correct.
So second criteria was, you know, something where the kid is getting exposure beyond academics.
Right.
Because these days, academics cannot just be the focus. According to me.
Right.
Because, you know, you take a look at so many careers which are evolving. People are doing so random things and, you know, turning that into a proper successful career.
Right.
So you want to give that opportunity, you want to give that space to your kid,
and to that explore. Open thinking, right?
Yes. And you know, not restricting कि भाई पढ़ाई ही करनी है, तुझे 100 में 100 लेके आने, nothing like that. Right. So you know, if you are good at music, you pursue music.
Right.
If you want to become a chef, just go for it.
Right.
But you know that you know, that mindset has to be developed.
Right.
The kid should be proud, the kid should be comfortable with whatever quality or whatever they have.
Right.
Okay. So so that was also another thing which I wanted, you know, there has to be something beyond academics. And staying in Bangalore, proximity was the third. And like really
I think my first two were proximity, fees. Rest we will figure out.
Yeah, so thankfully I found a school where they give a lot of exposure in terms of being creative, like in terms of music or theatre.
Right.
And you know, I have this fascination for theatre and performance and all.
Because you have been
and you know, it's always good to have that skill, is what I feel like. You know, while you are interacting with anyone, while you are, you know, in your work also, you know, that plays such an important role. The kind of clarity you have while speaking.
Right.
It
develops skills beyond education or bookish knowledge.
People want to listen to you then.
Correct.
You're not just speaking. You know, you should speak in a way.
Communicating. You are truly communicating.
Yes, exactly. Then we zeroed down to that school and we pestered them a lot for admission. Okay, because so you know, it was a great ordeal to, you know, get him through that. But yeah, it was worth it.
So you said unconventional careers. It's something that you, I think, have also been doing most of your life. The choices that you have taken, whether it's an RJ. I mean, I really need to know more about that. So you said you were an RJ at some point, and that, you know, you've been in theatre, and then today you currently are working with a radio station.
Yeah.
These are not very commonly chosen career paths. First, let's begin with you, because generally, if we as individuals have explored and experienced these things, we are more open to allowing our children to go ahead in that direction, in that take up that journey. How was it for you, and maybe the equation with your parents, to choose an unconventional path and be okay with it?
See, what worked for me was that my parents were open to a lot of things, and you know, they never put that pressure. Earlier, the scene with the daughters was, you know, the father will decide what she has to do, which school, which college she'll go and all. But touch wood, like, you know, thank goodness that my parents were completely opposite of that. They in fact forced us to, like, you know, learn riding a two-wheeler quite early in life. They gave us the car also, कि भाई चलाओ,
इसको ठोको सीख लो.
Yes, ये सीख लो. And so both my sisters were into swimming. Okay.
Lovely.
So when they were kids, they used to go for swimming, and I started going with them. And but I was not age appropriate during that time. Okay. They said you have to be 5 years old to be able to get admission for the swimming pool and all. Then only will. So they used to be like, what to do? Okay. So just next to that swimming pool, there was this art center or activity center called Bal Bhavan. Okay. So I was 5 years old, and my parents enrolled me for a theatre class there.
That was your start.
Yes, they were like, you know, both the daughters are going. So they'll go here, we'll drop her there, let her do something there.
Correct.
Okay.
Got it.
And that was a turning point for me.
Lovely.
You know, from day one, I mean, I just have some really fond, the teacher who was there, he's not with us anymore. But, you know, I have some really fond memories because, you know, he was the one who pushed me and told me, okay, you have an exceptional talent. And you know, you should utilize it. Yeah, I mean, I remember he was so fond of me. My dad used to come and pick me up. He's like, this girl, na, she'll do really good. Okay. So that is the kind of confidence that particular teacher has
had on you.
Yes.
And
that's the importance of teachers.
Correct.
See? You know, in building your confidence, you know, when the teacher believes in you,
you believe in yourself.
You
more.
start believing in yourself.
Very true.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, this girl, she is really good. And then from then onwards, I used to be the presenter, the orator for all the shows in my school also.
Nice.
Okay. So, you know, that, and you know, people used to say, kya speech dena hai? Okay, Shruti.
Shruti.
You know, it used to be like that. I know, getting that kind of attention.
Because then it comes back from school because you can see your skill. And every time that you're reapplying that skill, it kind of
generates. And teachers used to ask you, okay, तुम्हारा next play कौन सा हो रहा है, कहाँ पे हो रहा है?
How cool.
So you know, I had done a lot of shows. I went to National School of Drama in Delhi to do a show there also. So it was really good. And when did I go to National School of Drama? In between my 10th boards. And my parents allowed me to go and do the show.
Oh wow.
And just before my maths paper. And I am terrible in maths, okay? But they were like, okay, if this is what you want, just math mein fail mat hona. So that's how theatre happened. Like, because, you know, my parents also were okay with me doing, like, you know, I used to do so many street shows. Like, you know, right in the center of a crowded street, I used to perform for the gas tragedy which had happened in Bhopal. So, you know, doing plays which are passing on the message and all.
Right.
And then one day I was just reading a newspaper. I was not reading, my father was, and he said, "Kya yaar, ye dekh, you know, some new radio station is opening up in Bhopal, you know, FM for the first time in Bhopal. And, you know, they're asking people who are good at speaking, people who are from Bhopal, who know Bhopal inside out. So why don't you go and, you know, just give it a try?"
Right.
And I went there and I got selected. So, you know, while doing my master's there, parallelly I was working as an RJ also. So that's the whole important thing, you know, your parents should believe in you. They should be okay to let you experiment. You can fail. You can give it another try.
Right.
But at least letting you do is a very important thing. And, you know, I guess I also carry that same mindset. You know, I definitely want Garv to exceed or excel in whatever he wants to pursue. You know, I'll try to put my focus, my efforts, my energy towards making him successful in whatever he chooses to do.
Teachers, of course, being this big pillar of support in building that confidence and reiterating that back into you.
Yeah.
Parents being around and being open to you exploring right in the middle of board exams is like a big one. If it happened a day before your math board exam, you were ready to put in that effort for both because you knew that the deal is because you valued this so much, you ensured that this aspect was also taken care of.
Because so I was studying in the train, like, you know, while sitting in the train, I was like practicing my maths. Just before the show, I was like, you know, just going through, you know, whatever needs to be done and all. So yeah, I mean,
you would have put in you did. I mean, we all know you did. Maybe the fact that you were given that chance, you put in far more effort here as well. You know, both the scenarios.
That is true.
Well, uplifted because of the fact that you gave yourself the confidence, your parents gave you the confidence, your teachers gave you the confidence that you can do both. Why not?
It's for a very simple thing now also. Like, you know, I tell Garv, okay, only if you finish this bowl of vegetable,
will you get the junk?
You'll be able to eat a piece of chocolate, maybe.
I say that all the time.
Yeah, and you know, that works, you know, because, you know, then you're like, okay,
I have to finish this. Then I will
he'll finish that.
True, very true. We apply that young one. Knowing Garv today, where do you think he's headed? Knowing today, because I know they change as they progress in years. But
okay, so this was during Corona time. Okay,
okay.
We were in my hometown, and some bathroom had to be fixed or something. He used to see all these plumbers coming with those tools and everything, and he used to be really fascinated.
Of course,
you know. And I'm like, you know, they are fixing the water line, they are renovating the bathrooms and all. He was attending his online school. So one day teacher was talking about the community helpers and professions and all. She's like, okay, Garv, what do you want to become?
Plumber.
He's like, I want to become a plumber. Every other kid was saying scientist or maybe a doctor or engineer or something.
Right.
I was like, I want to become a plumber. And they all started laughing also.
Yeah.
But I could actually see, that
it was important to him at that moment.
Cuteness or the pureness in the mind of a kid, like, okay, they treat everything equally. It's nothing good, nothing bad.
Right.
And looking with the AI intervention these days, I guess becoming a plumber would
It's
be
probably far more fetching.
I know.
That is one job that an AI yet can't do.
So that's the thing. Like, from plumber, he moved to becoming a cricketer. Okay, he's really good at bowling and he's a die-hard Bumrah fan. Okay, so there was a time 4 hours he's just bowling and I'm like, bhai kandha
bachalo.
So then he started bowling with his left hand. Right. Apparently he says I want to become ambidextrous or something.
Right.
It started 4 hours of football daily, then 4 hours of cricket daily.
Now it's 4 hours
of table tennis. Now he's pursuing chess also. So it keeps saying, and now he's like,
he doesn't want to be ambidextrous. that's a low mark for him. So one of the things that just came to my mind while we were talking, because you mentioned that the plumber came home and he saw that and he learned from that and he developed that interest. There is this belief system, and this used to be the case in the olden days, where a father or a mother would always take their children with them to work. Of course, a carpenter's son would become a carpenter and a barber's son would become a barber, but the idea was not about what they become, but about being a part of their life, learning that your parents are going somewhere and facing some challenges and facing some hardships. And from there, they absorb far more. They see that as a bigger value that they're taking back. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to take up a carpentry job, but the value system of working hard and so do you think that's something that you would also want to incorporate?
I try to be my real self in front of him, understanding the value of somebody's efforts,
right?
Understanding the value of time,
right?
Understanding the value of money also.
True.
Okay,
that it doesn't just it doesn't hang from a tree. It comes with the hard work that you are putting in.
Exactly.
Right?
So we keep telling him, we have worked so much, so we have attended so many this thing. I keep telling him, I go and make so many presentations for so many clients. I go and pitch it to them. I work these many hours a day, and that's the reason why you're able to maybe get a piece of Lego which you wanted to play with.
Right. Okay. Very true.
Yeah. So that's the concept of this the time chart which I've made for him. Okay, you have to do good work.
These are your earnings.
These are your earnings.
Right.
And if he has to buy an ice cream, we tell him, okay, we are reducing points from your this thing. How many points will you give?
Yeah.
For a ice cream.
Ice cream.
We are trying to teach him that not everything is easy.
Right.
It might be easy right now, but you don't know what future holds for you. How situations change. But you have to be ready, prepared for being able to live in a life which is very minimal to a life which is maximum also.
Okay.
So, be ready to adapt, be ready to change wherever possible.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very important aspect because for them it's all easy today because they don't really see what is going on behind the curtains. Because we have put in that curtain ourselves.
Yes.
We try to conceal them from all the hard works and hardships that's going on with the parent in the background.
Yeah.
But I think it's far more important, like you said, showing your imperfections as we discussed in the beginning, being completely yourself, showing your range of emotions.
Yeah.
And letting them know why those emotions arrived, because there is always a backstory,
of course,
and there are behind the scenes that goes on for that emotion to have come out the way it did.
True.
And if they understand that, they will see sense in this. But the day you shadow or conceal them from that, they don't see sense in this. For them, it's like, why is she just...
So what happens is, like, we try not to give him anything very randomly.
Understood.
There has to be an occasion.
Right.
There has to be some effort to be able to get something.
Right.
Because that is something which my parents have done always with me. I don't know whether I'll succeed to the level which my parents have, but I try to put that effort. Okay, you'll not get anything immediately. You have to earn that. You have to wait for it, because patience is also required. You just cannot take any decision in haste. Arey, meko abhi Lego chahiye. Ye book abhi padhna hai. No. Yeah.
And the decisions that they take in that haste that you're saying, also sometimes they fall out of that decision so fast.
Yes.
They bought it in urgency, but within like
And they're not using it now. Yeah.
oh no, I didn't, I thought I would use it, but I wouldn't. So if you let them brew in that thought process for a little longer, I'm sure these phases will come and go, you know. So let them really want it. Let them really ask.
So that's why he's waiting for Diwali. Because
his points are going to
nice. Waiting for that. Yeah.
True. There's just so many things that are there easily available today. Whether it is going to a mall, you get clothes and
it's all accessible. It's all accessible.
Even food. These days, at a drop of a hat, even for us for that matter, at a drop of a hat, we have nothing chal Swiggy kar liya.
Yes.
You know, so it is changing our lifestyles also so strongly, and I think that's another aspect, because you see children and their friends constantly with a packet of chips.
And it's so scary.
And I tell my son, and I'm like, you know, it's not healthy, and he's like, and that's another difference that we are.
What I've told him for that, Manika, if somebody is giving you something, you bring it home. Manika, don't eat it then.
Right.
Manika, I'm not saying that you'll not eat it.
Right.
Just bring it home.
Share with us.
Because at least I just want to see what have you consumed.
Understood.
Till now, it's working. Let's
so
see.
far, so good.
So far, so good. Yes.
All right, Shruti. This has been really exciting, and I think I've learned so much more about how I want to go forward with my tween son as we are progressing. You know, it's so much more nice to listen to other journeys, because that kind of really helps you
definitely
streamline yours more. With more clarity.
New connections, new conversations, new perspectives, you know.
Correct, absolutely. So thank you so much for that. So we move to a fun aspect now. And this is called the rapid fire round. Okay, so here you would see that there's an app in front of you and you need to hit the draw button. So when you hit that, a random number pops up. And basis that number, I have a few questions here and I will ask you and you need to answer.
Sure, okay. So
please start.
Here you go.
Yeah. A classic phrase your mom used all the time, one you swore you would never say but now catch yourself using constantly.
My mom says, still says, sovat hai, wo khovat hai. Like, you know,
the one who sleeps
on the things. Wow. And I very strongly believe in that. Okay, you know, that's why, you know, that FOMO thing.
Correct. And do you use that?
Very much.
So get out. Lovely. Yeah. Which song from their playlist is stuck on repeat in your head?
Funk, music, something. So recently he's into it.
They play it so often that it's actually just registers as one of your recent favorites. I mean, that's how it works. Yes. Yeah. Awesome. I would rather have an uninterrupted peaceful bath or an uninterrupted peaceful sleep?
Uninterrupted peaceful bath, because usually my bath times are like, you just quickly go, quickly take it and you come out. You know, sleep is not something which is on my priority list.
Understood. Because jo sovat hai, wo khovat hai. Exactly. What's one good habit your child forgets after a solid dose of dad time?
Putting his socks in the laundry basket.
Story of every house. Your most effective weapon against tween rebellion?
A mother's drama. That emotional drama.
The theater, mode of Shruti's out. Yes.
So, you know, if I have to convince Garv about something, I'm like, you know, I just make that puppy face, okay? And, you know, I just tell Garv about it and he is like, you know, okay, mom.
Please don't cry.
I'll do it, mama. You know, don't feel sad.
Glycerin डाला था.
Glycerin की भी जरूरत नहीं पड़ती.
Oh, natural. Wow. One worst habit that your child picked up from you or your hubby. All the worst habits are from Kunal.
I'm telling you.
Good ones are from me. Good ones are from me.
The good ones are not there. See, bad ones are there. Mostly, I told you, both of them are Capricorns. Okay, and they have a very similar, habit and demeanor and all. Okay, so I mean, one bad habit I would say is their favorite word is wait. You tell them to do something, like wait 5 minutes.
A gadget or a toy you bought for the child inside you more than the one outside?
Legos. I mean, every time I buy for him, more than him, it's for me. And, I just love playing with Legos.
Right. Which are you more likely to step barefoot on, thanks to your child? A pokey mystery item or a dripped, half-eaten gooey snack? Maybe I should call that pokey mystery item a Lego piece.
I don't mind stepping on that. But I don't want anything gooey or slippery or sticky on the floor.
One thing you thought you would do totally different as a parent, but ended up doing just the same.
Okay, I thought that I would be somebody who's a very, very pro parent, like, but, which I'm not.
Define a pro parent.
Putting in extra efforts. I try to be there for every occasion.
Right.
But taking them out for every day, कि भाई तुमको आज चलो ये activity कराने लेके चलते हैं. You're planning your entire life around your kid.
Right.
Of course, my life revolves around him.
Yeah.
But I want him to be part of our life equally the way we are for him.
Right.
It's not something he is आँखों का तारा तो सब कुछ उसके हिसाब से ही होगा. But I had that notion.
The best parenting lie you have told your child which has not been caught as yet.
I try to portray myself as a strong, not scared of anyone, fearless. Manika, your mom is not scared of anything. Manika, it should be the other people or the other person who should be scared of me. There are times maybe I'm panicking inside or maybe I'm scared also.
Right.
But there are times where I didn't want to portray myself as like that. But I've still done it. So he has that thing because I had to put that trust also in him. Your mother is there to handle whatever situation. If you're stuck in anything, you don't have to be scared.
Yeah.
Because when I'm around,
why
you don't
should
have
you be
to
worried?
be worried about that.
I think that's one of the other changes they've brought out in us, right?
Yeah.
Like they've taught us to overcome our fears and face them. We tell them that all the time. That face your fears and you will overcome it. But then
actually we are the one who are facing
our fears today, right?
Yes.
And we are, because of them, we are also learning to overcome that.
Exactly. The day he gets hurt and all, and I get scared कि भाई क्या हो गया, the blood is there. But you have to portray कि
कुछ नहीं हुआ है, it's all fine. Can you jump? Can you walk? Like exactly. And from the inside,
that's a very small example. That's a very small example, right. But that's how it is.
It is. Yeah. True. The most difficult thing is it's always probably the worst thing that I can expect from that scenario is what is running in my head.
Yeah.
My risks are always, the radar is
extreme. You think extreme.
You think extreme, and it's like I want to, and I'm showing the straight face and showing the confidence that you can do this.
Yes.
But on the inside, I'm like, why are you doing this? In my rare moments of self-time, I secretly escape to do.
I don't secretly do that, but I love socializing.
Right.
So when I'm free or I have time for myself, I would rather spend time with people I enjoy being with.
Nice.
So I just, just call over a friend. Or like, I just, call somebody, I invite them over. Or I say, okay, chai bana de, I'll just come over. So,
right.
If I'm getting that time, because, other time is for the family or for work. So whatever time is left, I just want to catch up. Catching up with friends and
right.
People you really love hanging out with. Right. So,
right.
So I don't do it secretly.
I openly do
show my love for the people I love. Yeah.
That is really sweet. What's the one parenting task you both pretend to forget so the other one has to do it?
Waking Garv up, in the morning. Okay.
Oh my god, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I hope you enjoyed too.
I actually forgot that we are recording a podcast also. It was just like, normally chit-chatting with you.
I'm so happy to hear that. So Shruti, as you are aware that this is No Coffee with Karan.
There is the coffee.
There is no coffee! But this is also a rapid fire round which comes to an end with a beautiful hamper.
Oh, how cute.
Yeah, I hope you give it the same love when you see what it is. So, I'm always in favor of wellness for mothers in any form. And I think one of the things that I truly believe in is moving back to your roots and using traditional things and which are close to nature and are herbal and really, can never hurt you in any way or in any form, So this is something that I have prepared at home.
Oh my god, that's so cute. What exactly is this?
So this, you can call it whatever you like because I haven't named it yet. But let's call it the Zen Mom's Herbal Powder for Skin.
Oh wow.
For glowing skin.
Thank you so much. This is really thoughtful. This is really very pure way of showing love. I really care for you. I'm giving you something which will actually take care of you.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's always that thought. So thank you so much, Shruti.
Thank you so
wonderful.
Much.
My name is Shobna and I'm the founder of zenmoms.org, a platform dedicated to the holistic wellness of women and mothers of all ages and stages.